Okay, time is ticking for the school year, and a surprise announcement has principals just scrambling to draw up formal plans to use outdoor learning spaces when classes begin on September 10th. Very soon, right? So what's even more surprising is how the schools are expected to cover the cost for outdoor learning. Take a listen.
If a PTA has done their fundraising and they've raised more than enough for their school, let's identify another school that doesn't have that fundraising capacity. Let's help them out too.
So he's saying let's share that from the chancellor there. So critics argue the outdoor learning proposal will highlight the differences between the haves and the have-nots across the 5 boroughs. Joining us now this morning is PTA President Lourdes Jibodh, who also serves on the Chancellor's Parent Advisory Council. Lourdes, thanks for being with us today.
Well, thank you.
So the advice is to share from Chancellor Carranza. Is that truly going to happen, or is that just nice in theory?
I truly have to say it is nice in theory, because there are certain protocols that have been put in place, Chancellor's regulations for that matter. So I don't think that is feasible.
Yeah, well, you know, it sounds like everyone's flying by the seat of their pants, right? One day it's this direction, the next day it's another direction. Outdoor learning was opposed for a while by the mayor, but now he's saying, yeah, we could possibly do that. How difficult is it now to do an about face and try to get that prepared for the start of school year on September 10th?
Well, as it is, my first thought is that officials have forgotten about the lockdowns and lockdowns that were implemented in New York City public schools. With gun violence rising in New York City, administrators will find a very difficult time and a pushback from school communities and school leadership members to be able to even implement a plan of this magnitude.
That's a really good point that you bring up about gun violence, because I think the first thing parents think about is, well, what about if it rains or when it gets cold outside? But then you add the other factor into it, and there's a whole host of problems here. So you serve, I want to talk about Principal Carlos Guzman for just a second, because he is the principal of MS 324 in Washington Heights. He says his school cannot afford to pay for outdoor learning, and his PTA cannot help either. So what is your school doing? What is the situation?
Well, as parent of the as president of the association at Antonia Pantoja Preparatory Academy, a 6 through 12 school that serves about 400 plus students, you know, it is kind of difficult for us to raise money. At a good day or a good month, $500 is not even close to help support our schools. Resources for students and so on and so forth, let alone, you know, be able to help other schools.
Right. So have you spoken to the principal at your school now that we've got the go-ahead for outdoor learning, right? What's the plan? Has there even been enough time to figure out a plan?
It hasn't been enough time. We haven't spoken about it yet. We have plans to meet this afternoon as we speak, but that's about it. I mean, there hasn't been no conversation in this matter.
So, I mean, I'm just trying to think as a mother, right? Do you have tents out there? What happens if it starts to rain in the middle of the day while class is taking place? What about kids who need to go to the restroom, right, and wash their hands? I mean, how do you handle all of that outside?
I don't know how that will be handled, honestly. And also, we got to think about the flu season, and we got to think about nurses, students in special education that would like to run off at a certain point from a classroom. Can you imagine on the outside? There's a lot of discrepancies on the thoughts of this idea, and I think it needs more.
Mm-hmm. It needs more time to kind of gel and figure out how this is going to actually work in real time. All right, Lourdes, we thank you for your time today. I know there's a big job ahead of you, and we appreciate the work that you're doing for the students across New York City. Thank you.
Thank you.